All right, so what to expect for this week crypto market outlook. And later on, we'll have the FOMC happening in 4 hours' time. So should we see another possible rate cut, or most likely rates will be maintained, right? So according to Kevin Warsh, last Federal Reserve meeting, mentioning that they will not disclose. And then immediately the market become hawkish. So should we see another similar style again happening later? Okay, but I think most likely there will be a maintain of rate rather than cutting of rates. Okay, and there could be a high possibility of a rate hike rather than a rate cut. Okay, so this is a thing to take note later on. Okay, so we can see here today's FOMC, right? So you will real whether Fed rate hike, okay, is still on the table. Okay, then of course we talk about the goal target of inflation, which is 2%. This was also recommended by Jerome Powell as well, but unfortunately they're not able to do it. Right? So currently inflation is still above 2%. So that's the thing. All right. And then of course we look at the market condition. Okay, there will be a 76% chance of rates staying unchanged at the next meeting as well. So meanwhile, this thing is happening. Rates will continue to maintain, but the higher chance that it will continue to increase the rate according to the market condition, which is the stock market, will get all-time high. So that's the thing. Okay. Then of course, what else to take note, right? We talk about the June, last month's FOMC. Okay. Right, under the new chairman, Kevin Warsh, right? Unanimously kept interest rates unchanged at 3.5 to 3.75. Okay. And then what happened is that the tone last month was hawkish. Okay, already mentioned why, because they cannot decide. They do not want to review. So the Fed removed earlier hints that rate cuts could come soon. Instead, shifted its focus towards bringing inflation back under control. Right? So the keyword here is what? Remove earlier hints. That is the reason why market do not want. This uncertainty. So when you have uncertainty in the market, that's where market become bearish and hawkish. Okay? So since Kevin Warsh taking place, right, as a head of FOMC. Okay, so again, the 2% target rate, inflation target rate is still on the cards. Okay, then of course, talking about any chance there will be any rate hike this year. Okay, instead of the rate cut, now we are expecting another rate hike, which is not good, right? So if it's increasing the interest rate, will definitely kill off the market again. So we're going to see how this thing is going to play out. Okay, so we have a divided committee. Right, 9 out of 19. Obviously, we're expecting at least one more rate hike for end of this year. Oh, this is not good, isn't it? Then, however, by end of this year, right, which is December, traders are assigning roughly a 40% probability that rates could increase to 3.75 to 4%. Wow. Okay, so it looks like it is a bear market. Okay, and if these things really align, then most likely price will likely be consolidating sideways. And then most likely, I think a lot of retail will be having its worst fear. Okay, price stocks also will continue to drop with this type of scenario. So I think market will really price in due to this, probably before December. So maybe around September, October, you should see something to decline and then consolidate. Okay. And as for Bitcoin and the crypto market, what to expect, right? So Bitcoin recovered, okay, crashing below 57K, and now it's somewhere around below 63K at the moment. Okay, so now it's again down. So we're going to see later on, this 8th of July, which is today, okay, could be another major catalyst. So it's all make it or break it now. How is Kevin Warsh tone is going to be like? Okay, I think it's going to be another hawkish tone again. I believe so. Okay, so if another hawkish tone, then I think it's going to tank the market. And of course, furthermore, with the stock market already at an all-time high, so a much needed correction is most likely to happen rather than going up. And then moving on next, talk about the Clarity Act. What if the Clarity Act passes? Okay, so the Clarity Act is coming in on 17th of July, which is next week, I think. Yeah, next Friday is the hearing in the Congress. So what is going to happen and what are the expectations of this thing will pass, right? Okay, so yeah, like I said, if this thing were going to pass, then it's much more favorable to the B2B, okay, business to consumer, Okay, people who are providing services, okay, right? Like your whatever DeFi yield, whatever product, investment product, okay, right? That the company wants to promote. This thing is going to clear once this thing passes. So, yeah, if you can see here, Pierce made clear that the crypto task force direction depends significantly on whether the Clarity Act clears Congress, right? So this is the most important thing. It needs to clear Congress. Clarity does give us quite a few regulatory obligation or rule writing obligation. Okay, something that we are watching and we are trying to prepare for. What that will look like in the process. We'll go about coordinating that work. There'll be a big coordination job. Okay, so that's the thing here. So 17, right, is the meeting. So it needs to get past what? The Congress. It needs to clear the Congress, and then only we can talk the next phase, which is setting up the foundation. Okay, so that's the thing, right? So yeah, we can see beyond the Clarity Act, okay, PS flag token-based capital raising as a personal priority. Okay, the Commission has been doing preparatory work. What a viable regulatory framework for using tokens in fundraising. This is the IDO or ICO fundraising. Okay. All right. So what else? I think a lot to focus. But I think if we look at the direction here, so 17 is a make it or break it again for crypto. What if it gets rejected, right? Right. And then what if it passes? But if it passes, then probably it will continue to rally. Okay, probably short term. Or before the 17, there could be a sell the news event as well. Because market most likely to be pricing in bullishly before the 17. Okay. All right. So now if we look at other perspective, right, this includes how transfer agents interact with blockchain system, custody of crypto assets on both investment advisor and broker dealer side, and how clearing agencies fit into the asset landscape. So these are the things that we are proposing, right, for the Clarity Act. Once the thing approved, these are the things that we will consider as well. So the TradFi and the DeFi world will most likely merge without any issue. Okay, like your interactive broker, I think now they have already integrate with the USDC, USDT, or Bitcoin and Ethereum as deposit. So most of the stock market brokerage are accepting crypto deposit, right? So only some. But once this thing get approved, I think it will soon open the floodgates for other TradFi to come in as well, to allow, encourage, okay, crypto withdraw deposit and withdrawal as well. Okay, so these are the things that we are using. Okay, so let's see how this thing is going to play out next Friday. And then moving on next, okay, talk about the valuation of BTC. So Bitcoin already lost half of its value since the all-time high at 126K. Right now, already what 60, right? So yeah, and what to expect from here? Where do we go from here? Okay, so there. Meanwhile, I think there are some OGs, some are actually quietly accumulating as well. Okay, besides this downfall. Okay, while there are a lot of noise out there, there are a lot of fight at the moment. So some are slowly shifting from a bear to a bull, 50-50, right? Some of them are already starting to accumulate. Okay, and yeah, we can see here October peak, right? Last year, 126. Okay, so went down. Currently is about 61, 62K. Okay, right. And then of course we talked about Saylor as well. Okay, recently sold 126 million worth of Bitcoin. Okay, so it has to pay their dividend payment. Those people who are holding the shares, right? The convertible shares for MSTR. Okay, he promised about what 11% per annum. So these are the things. And then we look at the demand signals quiet accumulation. So what is really happening now in this chart? Okay, so this is the 30-day basis points to a silent growing accumulation of asset. Since 3rd June, buyers go up roughly about 200,000 Bitcoin. Okay, lifting the demand from negative 275K to negative 75K. So yeah, this is a metric here, the on-chain graph. Okay, so we can see now what is happening now. It is still in a negative demand, isn't it? Because its price is still down from 240 to 275 to 75K, right? So that's the thing. Okay, Then the rise reflects a degree of accumulation, though it stops short of confirming a bullish market. Right? And then we look at the demand still sits in negative territory on chart. A material run looks like unlikely until the metric flips positive. Okay, so yeah, like I said, for some are still sitting on the sideline, some are still waiting, probably for one more last drop. Okay. And of course, there are more probably opportunities once the market continues to consolidate. Okay. For weeks to months. That's the thing. It's still early to call the bottom, right? Even if it's a bottom, okay, it won't straight away do a V-shaped recovery. It will still consolidate. Okay. Consolidate, ranging. Okay. And that's where people get fed up, they get bored, and they totally shift their attention to something else. And that's where we want to accumulate. But probably for me, not at this moment. Okay. Then we talk about the exchange reserve as well. Currently, it's still normal, nothing much. Market has not entered the Bitcoin season. The euphoric stretch where the asset prints fresh local highs and potentially tests all-time high, right? So, yeah, so we are here. This is the price in US dollar. And then the exchange reserve on the purple line here. Currently is where I'm intersecting. Okay, or the exchange is currently in the middle here. So nothing much, right? Unless if you say exchange reserve goes down, then that means people buy and people withdraw from the exchange. Right? Now, if the exchange reserve goes up, that's where I think probably people deposit into the exchange and probably convert it into USDT or probably sold it. So that's the thing here. So now we are coming back around this middle lane here. Okay. Right. So Bitcoin is likely to meet lighter selling pressure. Okay, given the overall decline in supply held exchange reserves. Right. So yeah. Okay, so these are the things to take note. And then we focus on MicroStrategy, right? Saylor. So he said, you do not sell Bitcoin, continue to hodl. Okay, never ever sell your Bitcoin. But what happened is that he did the opposite. Okay, and that's what gets everyone shocked and disappointed. Because like I said again, in front of the media, they can say whatever they want. But behind, they can do another thing. So don't always hear what they say, but watch what they do. That's the most important thing. Because in front of the media, they can shield you any type of things that they want, all the good things, but behind the scene, they do the opposite. Okay, they are actually screaming for exit liquidity, screaming for retail to actually come in to buy and top so that they can sell. So we look here. MicroStrategy have confirmed selling about 3.5K of BTC, far exceeding the earlier 3491 BTC. This is more, a lot. While meanwhile, Strategy holds about 843K of BTC. Okay, remaining the world's largest corporate Bitcoin, right? So yeah, I think a lot of people are shocked, especially because people are actually leveraging through MicroStrategy trust, and they even bought the MSTR, the 11% per annum or STRC stretch. Okay, so I think if you use your Bitcoin to buy the shares, right, MSTR, you are given about what 11% per annum, but they're paying dividend every weekly, right, bi-weekly, right? They have to sell their shares, then to pay out the dividend. So that's the thing. Okay, so as Bitcoin goes down, their share price also goes down, which is not good as well. So now they're actually selling, sold 3.5K. Why? To fund for 216 million. Okay, for fund dividends on the digital credit. So dividends from where? People who are holding the MSTR, whatever STRC plan, right? That those investors have already joined in. So that's the thing. Okay, right? So I think a lot of people taken for right, but this is what it is. This is the reality. Okay, you cannot hodl forever. Eventually, also you still need to sell. So that's the thing. Okay, right? So if we look at the rumors as well. Okay, confirmation follows widespread speculation. Okay, after on-chain and analysts identified a 41491 BTC transfer. Okay, gave to be MicroStrategy. Okay, so we can see already this one have already sold 491 earlier. This was the earlier batch. The latest one was what? 3.5, right? 3.5, 3.8. Okay. So this is the thing. that is happening now. And now price continue to slide. Okay, so this is the situation. Okay, and then moving on next with the on-chain analysis. So we talk about drawdowns, we talk about bear market. Where are we now? Okay, right, and then we look at the time frame as well, the roadmap. Okay, so cycle runs and drawdown. How much of drawdowns are we having right now? As of now, 276 days. Okay, which is about 53% down. And all the historical cycle, roughly about 80%, right? Average. 86, 84, last one was 77. So should we see a diminishing return or diminishing drawdown? Maybe this cycle, give and take, probably 60 plus, 65, 67. Okay, because the cycle is maturing. So probably the drawdown also will be lesser. That could be the case. Let me look at the bear market progress bar here. We are already 70%. Very, very fast, very, very close. So fast, isn't it? Last year, October, right? We topped at 126K. And then this month alone, already July. So how many more months left? 3 more months, right? To have a 1-year anniversary from the top, local top. So late October, right? Cycle bottom. Another 3 more months. That was really, really fast. 90 more days, isn't it? So here, right? Drawdown is still very shallow at 53%, even when accounting for diminution. See here, accounting for diminution, right? So that's what I'm saying. 60, 65, 70, 67, probably that could be the reasonable drawdown for this cycle. That's over 20% less than the previous cycle. So time-wise, not too much to do. Price-wise, I think there's some work to do here. So July in previous bear markets has been one of stagnation and dead cat bounces. What is dead cat bounces? Lower high, a relief rally. Give you a short-term relief rally. Yeah, and then it continue to go down again. Downside typically resumes losses. So all these perma bulls, okay, they always mention that the bottom is in. Quickly get in. Won't get another chance again. And then guess what? From time to time again, the cycle keep proving them wrong. Now they're already saying that the bottom is already, and we are about to go up even more from here. So now we are at 61K. So how? Right? Where do we go from here? Is the thing. And then next, talk about the crowd or the retail. Suddenly turns bullish. Okay? Suddenly are coming into the game again. Why? Probably because ETH against Bitcoin is strengthening. Right? Probably ETH is strengthening, and then we have Solana meme coins from Anson, right? That he promoted his own meme, and this actually drive retail coming back in again. So crypto traders have flipped their expectations several times in just 1 month. Okay? Even early June, the crowd was heavily calling for lower, but then turned optimistic in mid-June. And then what happened? Got fearful again mid-June after Bitcoin slipped to a low of 58.1. And then coming back here again. Okay, Bitcoin rebounds to 64K. See how fast this thing have changed. Okay, so this is why the below, lower versus higher, right? So this is the chart here. We have the retail. Major fight after price plummets, buy opportunity. Short bleed spike, signals at top. Okay, so crowd gets fearful and sells after this fall below 60K, ideal time to buy. So these are the indicators. Again. All right, so these are the crypto social for the crowd. Yet again, okay, they never learn. They always come in at the extreme top. They will always sell at the extreme bottom. Okay, and then they keep repeating again. Okay, so here, crypto typically moves opposite to what the crowd is most likely. Why? Because markets tend to push towards punish crowded trades. That's the thing. So whenever you are too bullish, that's where you have to be very, very careful. So all these perma bulls mentioning that the bottom is already in, right? So probably market will catch them off guard again. This could be another lower high, right? And then continuation towards the downside forms. So again, people ask me why you want to come in, why you want to accumulate. We think we should accumulate now. But what is the thesis and reason here to go in, especially in this scenario? So I don't really see a proper concrete structure for the market to actually bottom or to consolidate. Because it doesn't even validate the structure yet for me to even buy. So what's the point of going in or even rushing in? Right? Then next, we talk about the really ready for the outs. Okay, now slowly all these outs, or some outs, say, are slowly coming back again. Not all, only some, with use case, and most of it are from last year's coin, not from the last 2 cycles or from the last cycle. Okay, right? So hard coins like Cardano, Avalanche, all these coins, I don't know whether they can make it or not for this coming cycle. Okay, right? So altcoin impulse was fully suppressed. No broad corrective pressure, but also no momentum emission. That was a recent rating phase. Then the structure changing again. Okay, Bitcoin risk has exited calculation risk, easing selling pressure across the market. Look here. Again, the Bitcoin risk index. So this is the orange line for Bitcoin. And we look at the risk, right? Rising high risk, right? This is the one. So now it's currently down. I think which is good for now, short term, right? Then we look at the risk index here, high risk. Now it's back down in the middle. So out impulse, look at that. Again, look here, it's currently negative. So which means is already at the extreme bottom, right? So most likely down. Okay. So we can see here, positive impulse has ignited across altcoins. Okay. The key now is managing the. So this is the one. So we're already at 30, just above 30. Should we see more movement? Maybe to hit at 75 and then go down again. So the relief move starts to lose strength with positive impulse push above the 75% over extension threshold. Okay, or if Bitcoin selling pressure begins rising. Yeah. So there's a catch here. So for BTC now, it needs to hold, it needs to maintain. If it goes down again, this thing will come back down. So we're going to go below 30. So it's no point. Okay. So short-term relief rally, some outs are delivering, some not, some did really bad. Okay. So you're going to really pick your winners for this cycle. Then we move on next with the airdrop. So we have been doing GRVT, which is a perpetual DEX. Okay, we are trading on this platform. Might want to probably check. I think we already given you a checker. So the TGE launch date is on 21st. So roughly about how many more days there? 2 more weeks. Okay, 2 more weeks from now, we're going to launch GRVT. Okay. Then next, got allocation drop checker for Klano solves. They've been doing this drop. Probably you might want to check. Okay, because right now bear market is getting lesser and lesser because nobody wants to drop their token. It's more on building rather than distributing tokens. Okay, so that's the thing here. Then we move on next with the coin market cap. So we can see here, 2.13 trillion. This is 62. Okay, 1.7. Ripple at 1.08, Solana 77. Gainers for today. Okay, the Uniswap 4%, Wofo 4%, Stable 3.4, okay, JST 2.6. So yeah, I think nothing much. But if you look on the bigger time frame, right, it's actually down. It's actually down 90%. Okay, from here. Then we move on next with the dominance. BTC dominance. I'm going to look here. Your BTC dominance. Okay. Trend is actually down. Okay. Now retesting all this critical support. So the next level we're going to watch is here, the sell zone here, 9.2. And then on the weekly time frame. Okay. So what is the weekly time frame doing? Price down, consolidating sideways. Okay. So still hovering at this critical support. So we're going to see daily. What is daily doing? Okay. Price break above the middle band. So which means candlestick change of direction from sell to buy. So now uptrend now for dominance. So most likely dominance will strengthen. Okay. And this will push up for the weekly to go up and for the monthly as well. So which means Bitcoin most likely to strengthen. And this outs have to be very careful. Right? If you look at even is Bitcoin, you look at the monthly now, and you're able to break now. Seems like a struggle here. Okay. Look here. This level 0.02954. Okay. That is the level to watch. And we look at the weekly time frame. Okay, so the weekly time frame, you can see pump down descending. Okay, you can see it's a descending channel. So most likely price might be able to break towards the upside at 0.00271, or probably this top here as well, 0.03161. So that's a setup there for ETH against Bitcoin. If not, probably we might see this level here. 0.02411 is next for support. Okay, so that's ETH against Bitcoin. So overall, we can see trend is slowly starting to bottom. Let's see. This is the bottom here for now. If it continues to go down, we're probably going to revisit this level at 0.027. Okay. So let's take here for ETH against Bitcoin. And then next, we're going to look into what here? Okay, USDT dominance. So the USDT dominance, you can see is slowly starting to go back up again, right? See already what's this level here. Your support that needs to maintain 8.78. Then probably might come back down here 8.05. Look at weekly. So if you look at the weekly time frame, price already broke past this critical resistance. Then maintain this level of support. Now it's consolidating now. So at this level of support, then most likely it might continue to okay, for dominance. So I think it will continue to rally to hit a new all-time high. For now, it is still sideways. Let's see, and could create a W pattern here. Let's wait and see for this. And then we move on next with BTC 62K. Can it continue to rally? Is this the support, or will it continue to go down? Let's look at weekly, monthly now. What is monthly doing? Okay. So monthly here, right? So support here at 58.4, 58.5. That is a support that it needs to maintain. If not, then we're probably going to go down. And we're going to retest all these zones here, 46, 48. Next resistance is right here, 71.2. Okay, 71.2 or probably on the monthly resistance here at 66.7. Okay, then on weekly. So weekly, what's happening now? You can see the price break below the middle band, pull back for the result breaking down. So probably we can revisit back all these zones here. That's the thing. Again, might come back to consolidate within this range. And then we look at daily. Should we see daily continue? So it's still maintaining around this level here, 61.8. Then we look at H4. Is H4 enough or not? Probably, maybe. Still reversing now. We're going to see whether can continue to retest. If not, you're probably going to fall back. Then retest all these zones again, 60K, 60.7, then leading up to this one, 8.5. And then moving on to Ethereum, 1.7 now. Price already slowly starting to weaken again. On the monthly time frame, you can see this setup here. It's level 1.5, 1.47. And then we look on next here, 1.8. And then continuation again, we're going to see the increase out at 2.1. Look at weekly, okay? So when we see weekly is doing what? Price momentum south, back for the increase out. So it's going down again. So rejected at 1.8. It's heading down again. Look at daily. So daily again rejected at the top daily. Price coming back down. So your next level, we're going to what is the middle band? 167. Look at H4 now, okay? The H4 also slowly starting to break towards the downside. You can see already a lack of steam to push up, breaking down. So next level, 1674. Okay, for ETH. Now we move on next with out. So if you have any outs or any question, feel free to put in the chat box. Answer it later on. Look at ZCash. So what do you see on ZCash here? All right, so I'm going to look here. 514. Then moving up back here to 569. Okay, 569, 514. Then probably if it continues to go down, this will be the next level here, 246. So all these levels is the resistance, is support. Look at weekly now. So weekly probably might consolidate this range here. I think this will be the new range compared to the last range. The last range was here, right? Similar pattern as well. So now we got a new range here. It's slightly above from this range. So I think for this year, price most likely ranging within this level. Okay. And then we look on next with daily, right? So daily is where you can see setup already rejected at the top daily. They'll probably come back down again, 437 on the middle band. And then slowly be testing on this critical support as 375. So that is ZCash. So I think probably we should see a local top there, local peak. Then probably to consolidate down for ZCash. You'll see a double top is happening. Okay. So what's next? And TRX, that's happening now. Tron. Okay, Tron. So you can see Tron now is rallying again. All-time high, 45 cents. Then there's a level here, 25 cents. And then the middle band, I guess it's 29 cents. Then we look at weekly. Weekly also at the top, EB squeeze, price pull back for the Brentry sell is looking set to hit down again. And I think this could be the local high. It's looking set to go down. Right, so you can see here V-shape, but price still rejecting at the top. So we probably got one more last pullback at 32 cents, and then probably retest back at 23.5 cents. Then on H4, price break below the middle band, candlestick change of direction from buy to sell. So it's a sell setup now for TRX. Looks like this short-term sell and then continuation again towards the upside. So that is TRX. Look at EtherFi, ETH5. ETH5, 39 cents. So monthly, we see here. Wow, already at the extreme bottom, actually. EtherFi. So the low was what? 33. What was the lower price? Low was at what? 26 cents was the low. Still at the extreme low. Can you imagine? Then you're going to retest back here on 26 cents. Okay. And then on the weekly time frame. So the weekly time frame, you can see already price descending, slowly starting to break up. Should we see the middle band to be broken at 41 and then continuation towards the upside? Probably will give you at the top, maybe at 6 cents. That is the short term for now. I think the long way to do it for this outs. Now it's slowly coming back down, creating a higher high and higher low. So it's going to see here the support 38 cents, right? Came back, that's again for EtherFi. Then we're going to have what next? Lighter. Look at Lighter. What is Lighter doing? 2.34. Okay. So we look at the monthly, right? It's actually a very nice consolidation. This level here, right? Past this level. Now, this is a type of range that you want to see during a bear market to accumulate. This is a very good example. Okay, why? Price down. Okay, and then what happened? Long-ranging consolidation. It could be weeks, it could be months, it could be a year. So how long was this consolidation? Since March 2022. 4 years. 4 years. Can you imagine? 4 years. Then now only slowly starting to break out. Okay, for Lighter. Well, I think before the airdrop, before they even launched the platform, they already launched on the exchange. They haven't go live yet. So that's why this is an old data. So I think last year, right, they launched their token. Okay? And then now slowly starting to back up again. Okay, for this. So next level here, 3.2. Okay, will be our next resistance. But I think most likely we should find a local top here, come back down. I think Lighter I will probably consider to add on. Okay, for this blue run, together with Hyperliquid or whatever DEX. I think this could be the key there for this cycle. All those perpetual DEX that is actually launching their airdrop as well, you might want to consider. So your 1.64 probably will be next. Okay, as a support group. You will have a chance to buy. Let me look at weekly time frame so you can see setup. It's already trending towards the upside. Right? You can see a huge topping tail here. Okay, 2.76. I think this could be finding a local top for okay. Then we look on next on daily time frame. Okay, daily time frame reversal retest candle is formed. Was now creating a higher high and higher lows. So your next level we're going to see is 1.2. Okay, for Lighter, right? Okay, so break below the middle band, candlestick change of direction from buy to sell, back, most likely entry back on the sell. So 2.41 could be under rejection. So we're going to see, okay, able to maintain, surpass. Okay, and then next will be the middle band here, or like that. All right, so yeah, I think that's all. See you again next live session next Wednesday. Take care.